In this video, you are going to learn what a project scope statement is and how to use it in project management. Also, I'll show you an example. Hello, I'm Dmitry from Project Management Basics, and I help people just like you to become a project manager. If you want to become a PM, you are in the right place. Subscribe to this channel right now. Before we talk about project scope statement, let's review its place in project management framework. You do need some inputs before you can start drafting it out. It all starts with a project charter. This document contains high-level information about the project and its boundaries. It might be as simple as a web application for our corporate clients, or a one-storied house with a garage. Then we find relevant project stakeholders who have expertise and authority to provide specific requirements. First, your clients provide the main requirements, then you collect relevant requirements from your team and subject matter experts within your organization. Together, you work to define detailed requirements. If needed, you create a requirements traceability matrix. Okay, just to be sure we're on the same side, let's clarify the difference between the scope of work and the requirements. A requirement is a condition or capability that is required to be present in a product, service, or result to satisfy a contract or other formally imposed specifications. And a project scope is the work performed to deliver a product, service, or result with the specified features and functionality described in a contract or other formally imposed specification. So what does it mean? A requirement is what a product should look like, what should it be capable of, what are the characteristics, behavior, performance, and so on. While project scope describes what work should be performed to meet all those requirements. So only once you know the main requirements, you can outline the project scope. That's where you start drafting the project scope statement. Project scope statement is a narrative description of a product and project scope. It is used as a written confirmation of what your project is going to produce and how. What's the key to useful project scope statement? I believe you need to use terms and language that any stakeholder understands. This piece of project scope baseline is mainly for your customers and clients. What should be included? Justification of a project, product scope, acceptance criteria, deliverables, project's exclusions, constraints, and assumptions. Okay, if you watched until this moment, leave me a yes in the comments below, because now we're going into the main part of this video. I'll explain how to create a project scope statement on an example of a simple project. Let's imagine I work in a web development studio and I need to create a project management basic site as it looks now. Let's do it. Justification of the project. It is a short description of business need. Sometimes one sentence is enough. The rest should stay in the project chart. In our case, as a project management blogger, I need a platform to host my articles on project management and build audience of loyal readers. It is a cornerstone of my business. Product scope. Here you put description of all the characteristics, traits, and functionality of a product or a service that you need to produce. Keep in mind that you collected requirements from different stakeholders. Do not assume that all of them communicate with each other. So it is the primary place to align the expectations of all key stakeholders. You need to show the amount and complexity of work required to meet different requirements. Put the most of your efforts in this section. In our example, we need to deliver a website based on WordPress. It's the platform that half of the internet uses, with minimum custom software development. The site needs a homepage, blog archive, an article template as it was designed, and a special form to collect emails. Again, keep in mind that by this moment we need to have main requirements already specified. Acceptance criteria. These are the conditions that must be met before the project deliverables are accepted. You can include an acceptable level and the number of defects here as well. We agree that this is delivered when I can access pmbasics1on1.com site on the internet and see the main deliverables. There should be no defects that prevent using the main functionality or doesn't have a simple workaround. Visually and functionally, the site should look and perform as described in specifications and designs. Client should provide a sign-off on the final results. We are not writing a contract here, it's an agreement. It should be readable and easy to understand. Don't try to cover your back here. You can do it by providing a realistic project management plan later. Deliverables. It is the description of all deliverables your project will produce. It may include the project or service, project documentation, product manuals, educational materials for your product, and so on. So put all tangible and intangible results that you need to hand off to the client at the end of your project. So in our example, the client wants to get some project management deliverables like work breakdown structure and project schedule. And product deliverables. First, homepage with text, images, and form to collect emails. Second, blog archive that lists 10 recent articles with sidebar. Third, blog post template, so that all articles have the same feel and look. All I need to do is to fill it with content, text and images. For example, I also want to have this little form at the end of each article. Project exclusions. Here you need to specify what is out of the project scope. Quite often, a part of stakeholders wants something specific. The other part of stakeholders or customers does not support it. So it's a conflict situation. But once the conflict is resolved and it was decided to remove this part of scope from the project, put it here in the project exclusions. It saves time in the future. Firstly, you will not have to revisit these project exclusions again, but stakeholders may try to include them later during the project execution. However, unless something dramatically changes, you should not waste time on reviewing exclusions. Secondly, unless it's clearly stated, someone may still expect you will deliver this part of scope. Don't feed false expectations. It will be easier to hand off the project at the end. In our example, website will be created on WordPress, so custom software development is beyond this project. Students' only area for the Perfect Junior Project Manager program is out of the scope of current project. We need these exclusions to ensure that even if we have time and money, we don't drift away from reaching our main objective to deliver website with the blog. Constraints. Anything that limits you to deliver the product efficiently should be stated here. So from project charter we have project budget constraint, which is $1,500. There is a deadline on August 25. And we're constrained by technology options. We can only use WordPress. Please notice that this constraint might not be mentioned in the project charter early at the project beginning. Assumptions. These are the uncertainties that could not be clarified at this moment. You may need to accept some of them during planning. In case an assumption proves to be invalid, you have a right to modify the project plan. So in our case, our assumption is that it's possible to deliver a project using standard WordPress capabilities. Also, we should assume that this form will integrate with WordPress seamlessly. Okay, here is an important aspect. A customer or a client should approve the project scope statement. In fact, it's a formal and mutual agreement. It states that you are committed to delivering described results under the identified assumptions and within clear constraints. On the other hand, customers agreed to accept these specified results. But what's more important, you will continue planning project based on the information approved in the project scope statement. You will break down major deliverables to identify 100% of scope. It means you estimate costs and duration only of the tasks required to produce these deliverables. It doesn't mean that we cannot change the project scope. No. It means that to make a change, we need to amend the agreement. However, when there is a change request from customers during project execution and it's not described in the initial project scope statement, it's a valid reason for you to make adjustment to project budget, schedule and other parts of project management plan. That's why it's so important to write project scope statement using terms and language that your clients understand. It's a mutually beneficial document that prevents conflicts in the future. How do you use project scope statement though? Ideally, you simply take the main deliverables and put them on the first level of decomposition into the work breakdown structure. Then you decompose them further until you get to the level suitable for estimation. Also, you can use assumptions and constraints from here as initial input to the risk management activities. Okay, if you like this video and it's time for you to become a project manager, subscribe to this channel. Also, do check additional resources in the description below. But before we go, let me ask you a question. What do you think is the biggest benefit of the project scope statement? Is it understanding of the project scope by customer, or your ability to refer to the scope statement when a change request comes? Leave me a comment below. Thank you in advance.